How you doing, Star Wars fans? This is John with Starwarsnut77, and this is some Star Wars news. I'm going to cover a lot of recent and upcoming Star Wars exclusives that have either come out or coming out soon for both San Diego Comic-Con 2013 as well as Star Wars Celebration 2 in Germany. We'll start with San Diego Comic-Con, just recently concluded. As always, every year, there's always some great Star Wars exclusives. This year is no different. We'll start off with a big one, Hasbro. First exclusive that they announced made me scratch my head. They released a 12-pack Angry Birds set. Now, granted, it's part of the retrofit. It does have a retro feel to it, but not a big fan of the Angry Birds line. And judging by what they're going for on eBay currently, I can see I'm not the only one. In fact, there's still some that haven't been sold. They're going for like $10 each on eBay. So not a big demand for this particular set. I'm not really surprised that that's the case, but I give Hasbro a credit to kind of bring in the retro feel, but honestly, retro collectors and vintage collectors don't have a thing for Angry Birds, I'm afraid. The second exclusive that Hasbro announced was a 6-inch part of their Black Series. It's a Boba Fett and Han and Carbonite. This retails, or they were selling this for $44.99 at their booth. This is actually a Star Wars San Diego Comic-Con and Star Wars Celebration Europe 2 exclusive. Now, $44.99 price tag is a bit high for a 6-inch figure, especially considering that these figures in retail are going to sell for half that, less than half that, $19.99. Now, you do get a Han and Carbonite in it as well. It comes with a very cool package design. The detail of this Boba Fett and Han and Carbonite are actually very good. It's great to see Star Wars back with Hasbro producing great quality products. It's been a long time since we've seen this, so I understand the lines for this have been long. I'm sure they've sold out. On eBay, they're going for over $100. So apparently, $44.99, it hasn't been scaring people too much because they're paying more than twice that in the secondhand market, which is interesting. Unfortunately, Sideshow Collectibles has produced some awesome 12-inch, very detailed Star Wars collectibles. They didn't have a Star Wars exclusive this year at San Diego Comic-Con. However, they did announce a life-size Yoda that they plan on producing, which, gosh, that's going to be awesome. Very detailed. Knowing Sideshow, they're extremely detailed in their products. I can only imagine how much this Yoda is going to cost. Can you imagine shipping for this bad boy? It's going to be quite expensive, but man, a lucky collector will definitely pick one up, I'm sure. For those Lego Star Wars fans out there, Lego has a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, and that's a Jack 14 Starfighter. This looks a pretty cool set. I'm not big into the Lego Star Wars scene, to be honest with you, personally, only because Legos aren't necessarily cheap, but man, I do love this Lego line. In fact, Lego recently announced a Lego store exclusive, which is going to be an Ewok Village, which comes with a whole bunch of cool goodies, and that's going to be very exciting when that comes out. And I actually may having to pick that up soon once it does come out. Hallmark released a very cool piece, a Star Wars piece ornament. It's going to be a Rancor with the Luke Skywalker. He's holding the bone. This is going to be not only a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, but it will also be available at New York Comic-Con. So if you live on the East Coast, you plan on going to New York Comic-Con, plan on picking these up. Hallmark makes some great sets for Star Wars, and they've been doing it for years. And a lot of people are huge into collecting these pieces, and this is certainly a really cool looking and very detailed set by Hallmark. A company called Retro Outlaw is producing a Star Wars Comic-Con exclusive. It's a 12-inch Boba Fett figure. I feel like Boba Fett is actually a theme of this year's Comic-Con, which is going to be called Evil Fett, which is basically Evel Knievel and Boba Fett mashup. So basically they take Boba Fett and they put Evel Knievel's clothes on it. Actually looks really cool. First when I heard about this, I was kind of scratching my head and I thought, what a bizarre mix to do, but actually they did a great job with it, and it's one of the probably most unique Star Wars exclusives this year at the con. Diamond Select is producing an exclusive bank. It's going to be a R2B1 bank available at the con. It's only going to be limited to 1,500 pieces, so I'm sure it will go quick. Last company, but certainly not least, I want to mention in regards to San Diego Comic-Con is Gentle Giant. I'll start with their mini bus. They're actually producing 2 exclusive mini bus. They first announced this Akbar, which is basically called Magnitude Akbar, and it's kind of interesting. It's basically Akbar wearing an old like colonel's, like, you know, captain's hat from like a sea ship, and it's very old school looking, but the detail is very cool. This piece is limited to only 500 production run. It retails for $175, and it also becomes a really cool like wooden box, which is cool. So since it's only 500 production run, it's been sold out through the Premium Guild members. If you're a Premium Guild member on the Gentle Giant website, gentlegiantltd.com, you had first dibs at this, and that sold out quickly. So I'm sure the demand for this is going to be quite high. Again, it's Akbar. It's Admiral Akbar, but he's got an old school like Admiral's captain's hat. Very unique, one-of-a-kind piece by Gentle Giant. The second piece by Gentle Giant is, again, we're back to Boba Fett. This piece is actually a mini bus as well. It's going to retail for $150, or it's actually has retailed for $150. 2,500 pieces is produced, so quite a bit more than the Akbar. And it's actually pretty cool. The replaceable arm, and you can, it's the attention detail is fantastic. Because it's Boba Fett, I'm sure this is going to be a greatly highly desired mini bus for Gentle Giant. What a great collection to have, certainly in your room on display. The last exclusive Gentle Giant produced and announced is, this is really cool. This is a 12-inch yak face. It's on a Power of the Force backing. It comes with a 3-inch coin. For those who don't know, yak face is actually the rarest vintage figure you can find outside of the vinyl Cape Jawa. It was never released in the US. It came out in Canada under this Power of the Force line. It was also released in Europe as part of the Tri logo Return of the Jedi line. His figure itself kind of looks like Joe the Camel. He's in Return of the Jedi, the Cantina scene, the palace scene, and it's a very detailed looking figure actually. But they haven't really announced. Gentle Giant hasn't announced how many they're releasing. They first announced it for the Premier Guild members, guys. I encourage you guys, if you guys are a big fan of Gentle Giant and their products, join the guild. I think it's about $70 or $80, but you get a free figure, which is about that anyway, and you get first dibs at a lot of these exclusives through their website, which is awesome. So I was able to pre-order one. It retails for $80. Quickly sold out through their guild, and I'm sure it's going to sell pretty quickly at the con as well. They're popping up on eBay, secondhand market, and they're going for around $150 right now, but I'm sure that will certainly go up. A couple other things Gentle Giant did that was really cool at the San Diego Comic-Con this year was they had a life-size Stormtrooper, a vintage life-size Stormtrooper. So it's like a jumbo figure, but blown up to the like 6-foot scale, which is pretty amazing. And I'm sure they plan on releasing other ones. It's a one-of-a-kind. They also announced during their panels at the con that they have some exclusives coming out. One of them is going to be the Wampa. They're actually blowing up the Wampa in the 12-inch scale from Empire Strikes Back, which is going to be pretty awesome. Gentle Giant is also coming out with a really cool exclusive 12-inch Star Wars 3-pack. It's going to come with a droid 3-pack, so it's going to be packaged like the vintage one, just like the old school. It's coming with the R5-D4 figure, the Death Star droid, as well as the Gonk droid. That's going to be available through AFX Toys, so shopafx.com. It's going to retail for roughly $200, which is less than if you were to buy all three combined. This is going to be a huge package. Consider these are 12-inch figures. I can't imagine how big this package is going to be. Now on to Star Wars Celebration Europe 2. Man, do I wish I was coming to this event. It's coming up soon as of filming this video. It's going to be July 26th through 28th. It's in a town in Germany called Messe-Essen, and it's going to be a big celebration. Unfortunately, because it's in Europe, a lot of the American companies who produce Star Wars items will not be there. Sideshow will not have a presence there. Gentle Giant will not have a presence there, among others. So that's kind of a bummer, but there's still going to be some great exclusives, and I'm going to name off some. First off, there's some great t-shirts. Some of them, there's a Droids, old school cartoon Droids t-shirt, as well as an Ewoks t-shirt from the old cartoons, which is great. There's a Blue Harvest hat, which looks pretty awesome. There's also they're reproducing these plush Ewoks, vintage Ewoks, baby Ewoks rather, and those look pretty sweet. Also, because it's in Europe and in football or American soccer, as we call it here in America, is huge. They actually have a really cool line of football jerseys and football glasses, and they even have like a soccer ball that's shaped like a Death Star, which is pretty sweet. So kind of fitting. I think they look really cool. The logo is really cool. They definitely match like you'd see in like a football club in soccer. Another exclusive I mentioned a little bit before was the Black Series 6-inch Boba Fett from Hasbro. They're going to have it here as well at Star Wars Celebration Europe 2. And the last exclusive I want to mention is a very cool, I mentioned the yak face, the 12-inch yak face, the Power of the Force one with the coin that Gentle Giants did, where they're actually releasing a very limited run tri-logo yak face. And the cool thing about this one is it's the same figure, right? But it doesn't include the staff, which basically it matches the history of what happened, because in the original tri-logo did not come with the staff or yak face. In addition, this is going to be limited to only 250 pieces, which is super a limited run. It's available through a third-party company called Toy Palace. It's a German company who's going to be helping distribute this for Gentle Giant on their behalf. You can actually get it right now, pre-order for it right now, and have them ship it to you. Retails for 80 euros, and shipping to the States or anywhere in the world is 35 euros. So certainly not going to be cheap, but if you can't make it to the convention, that's really your only way to get it. However, Gentle Giant announced through Twitter recently that through their Premier Guild membership, they're actually going to have these available as well. So if you want to pick one up and you don't want to pay 35 euros for shipping and 80 euros to purchase it, I would recommend, if you are a Premier Guild member through Gentle Giant, wait to see if it's available, but I cannot say how many will be available through the Premier Guild member, because only 250 are available in total, and I imagine the majority of those will be sold at the convention. And well, guys, that concludes some really exciting exclusives coming out for Star Wars. Please leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys are excited to see come out. What items would you want to pick up? What items have you picked up? And if so, what do you think of those? Thanks for subscribing, guys. Thanks for following. Thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing. And as always, may the Force be with you. Take care.